Battery-powered electric snow shovels are exploding in popularity, and I tested 5 models to see what worked best. Some of these shovels are from popular brands like Ego and Greenworks and cost big money. And some of these shovels are from brands you haven't heard of and seem like a bargain. But are they? And I'm looking at power output too, with some shovels using 20-volt batteries and some utilizing power from an 80-volt battery. If you're thinking about investing in one of these shovels, definitely stick around because there's one feature that's so important that I wouldn't even consider an electric shovel that didn't have it. If you aren't familiar with electric shovels, the first thing you might notice is that they really aren't shovels at all. They're more like mini handheld snowblowers, and while the motion can be similar to a shovel, the use of a spinning auger to throw snow means there's really no shoveling taking place. I didn't name the product category, so electric shovels, battery-powered shovels, cordless shovels, power shovels, they go by many names, but that's what we're dealing with here. I've assembled 5 popular models that are all a little bit different, and I'm gonna give you the pros and cons of each one and try to give these bad boys a ranking to help you make an informed buying decision. Links for all shovels in this test can be found in the video description. So let's get started. The DeWalt was my least favorite of the group, but it wasn't all bad. The battery compartment is large, meaning you can fit all kinds of different size batteries in the tool, and that's awesome because it gives you some flexibility to use batteries you might already have. The controls are easy to use because they utilize more of a paddle design than smaller buttons, and that's nice if you're wearing heavy-duty chopper-style mittens instead of thin gloves. The telescoping shaft is a unique design only found on the DeWalt, and that gives the user a range of different lengths, and I really wish I saw this feature on more than just the DeWalt. It's super lightweight, making it very portable and easy to use on stairs or decks, and it features adjustable vanes to control the throwing direction of the snow. More on that in a minute. It has some nice features, so how did it end up on the bottom of the list? Well, it comes down to actual snow clearing and ultimately a lack of power. This tool utilizes a 20-volt battery, and it was the easiest to stall out. In light-duty powder, it worked fine, but as the snow got deeper and heavier, it was quickly out of its comfort zone and it didn't perform well at all. The auger head is also really narrow compared to the others, and each pass just felt tedious for larger areas. Looking at a side-by-side comparison, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. 2 inches can make a big difference. Light snow dusting on stairs, this thing rips. Anything else though, it struggles to keep up. The Wild Badger finishes in the number 4 spot, and this power tools brand has been having huge sales numbers on Amazon, so I was excited to check them out. Power is the name of the game with this tool, and it uses a 40-volt battery to spin that auger faster than any other tool in the test. It was a beast upon startup, and it's audibly louder and faster than the others once it reaches peak RPM. But did all that power transfer to snow clearing? Yes. Yes, it did. This thing absolutely rocked, and not much slowed it down. Light dustings were obviously not a problem, but the real impressive part was clearing the piles left by the snowplow at the end of the driveway. Where the DeWalt stalled out and had to nibble through, the Wild Badger went full send into the thick of it and came out asking for more. Almost everything I threw at it was a non-issue. It throws snow really far, and it's got the power to not bog down when the going gets tough. So why the 4th place finish? This tool is really short, and when compared to others in the lineup, it's pretty easy to see. And unlike the telescoping shaft of the DeWalt, there's not much you can do about it. You know what isn't short? Me. I'm a tall drink of water at 6'3", and if you look closely, you can see I have to slightly hunch over just a little bit more to use this tool, and ergonomically, it's kind of a nightmare. The other thing I didn't like is no adjustable vanes to direct the snow. You don't always want to throw the snow right out in front of you, but this tool doesn't give you the option. Power isn't everything, and a few creature comforts or lack thereof landed the Wild Badger in 4th place. Into the top 3 we go, and in 3rd place, I have the Greenworks shovel. Generally speaking, I'm a big fan of Greenworks because I think they offer really good tools and a flexible product line at a fairly competitive price point. And there is a lot to like about this shovel, including the biggest difference from all the others, and that's the bent shaft design. All the other shovels in this test are straight shaft, but the Greenworks has an ergonomic bend that allows the user to stand more upright. Being a taller guy, I really like the design, but I found that overall overall length of the tool was the biggest factor when it comes to being comfortable. Power is plentiful because this is Greenworks' 80-volt line of tools, and while it doesn't have the high RPM speed of the Wild Badger, it seemed just as powerful during all of my testing. Even the plow ridge at the end of the driveway wasn't a problem, and you can see I'm clearing all the way down to the grass and getting into the salad a little bit. Not a problem for the Greenworks at all. So if ergonomics were good, power was plentiful, and snow clearing was on point, where did it all go wrong? My only knock against it is no adjustable vanes to redirect the thrown snow. It's a big feature and it makes a huge usability difference. You don't always want to throw the snow straight ahead, and not having a directional option is extremely limited. Greenworks does make electric shovels that do have directional adjustments. I'd probably opt for one of those. The Ego is probably the most recognizable brand on the list, and they've been cranking out quality tools for years, and there are only two minor reasons it isn't my favorite and ended up in second place. Power comes from the standard 56-volt battery that all Ego tools use, and that's one of the most admirable things about Ego is that every tool they make uses the same batteries. Like Greenworks, for example, has the 24-volt, the 40-volt, the 60-volt, and the 80-volt line of tools. Oh, and they aren't interchangeable either. While that offers flexibility and could be seen as a good thing, it can also be confusing as hell, but not Ego. Same battery for all their tools, always has been, nice and easy. Just to clarify, it's the same shape battery that fits in all the tools. It's different size batteries for the different tools, but the same thing, you get it. Snow clearing is good and power is great. It's also the longest tool lengthwise when lined up next to each other, so that helps if you're taller. With the directional vanes, you'd think that this is the complete package, and it's so close, but I do have some complaints. This is by far the heaviest tool I tested, and it's by a wide margin. It's not really very close. That really cuts down on mobility and ease of use. Yes, you aren't shoveling and having to lift a shovel weighted with heavy snow, but if the tool itself is really heavy, then what's the point? To be fair, this is the only tool in the test that isn't a dedicated snow shovel. I can switch out the shovel attachment part and have it be a pole saw or a string trimmer or a bunch of other tools. The fact that it's a combo tool might add to the weight, and if it was a one-piece design like the rest, maybe it would be lighter. The other thing about Ego is cost. They're expensive. They make great tools and I'm invested in the ecosystem, but they carry a premium over the competition and will almost always be the most expensive option. In any tool test, Ego will always be a solid choice, but the weight really impacts the ease of use, and with the cost factored in, I don't think anybody would say it's a great value. These two things were enough to bump it to second place. And that means that the #1 spot is Lithely, a brand nobody has heard of and a tool that I thought would totally suck. But it didn't. Lithely tools are beautiful, and they are definitely going for a sleek and modern design. If Apple and Dyson had a baby and it was a tool company, it'd be Lithely. Everything they make has a relatable aesthetic, and they aren't going for the tough tool look, which is why I thought their shovel was gonna suck. It's powered by these battery bank style 20-volt batteries, yet another reason why I thought it was gonna be garbage. Power is impressive for a 20-volt tool, and it was a way different experience than the 20-volt DeWalt. Different as in better. Plus, the batteries can be used to power all sorts of things or recharge electronics like phones and laptops. They take a while to recharge, but the versatility is kind of nice. It flung the snow just the same as the more powerful tools, and that was really surprising because I thought it was going to be severely underpowered. The shovel is well balanced and the handle is adjustable, so fairly easy to dial into exactly what you want. The overall weight is good, and with the adjustable vanes, it's very maneuverable and easy to use. Having all 5 of these lined up in my garage, charged up and ready to go, I found myself reaching for the Lithely the most often. I do wish it was more powerful and that it had a faster recharge time, but these shovels are somewhat lighter duty by nature, designed for lighter snowfalls, and if they get too heavy duty, they start to get heavy, so I think this one has a nice balance. I teased a feature in the beginning of the video that is so important that I wouldn't even consider buying an electric shovel that didn't have it. And I've brought it up a few times here, but it's the adjustable vanes to change the direction of the snow being thrown. There are tons of instances where you don't want the snow to be thrown directly in front of where you're working. Every single snowblower on the market has a chute that turns to direct the snow, and not having a directional option on an electric shovel severely limits the usability in tons of situations. Here's a quick demonstration of the directional vanes in action with the Lithely. At first, I'm going off to the left side here and look closely at the area directly in front of me. No snow being thrown straight forward. And here we are to the other side, off to the right this time, and you can see kind of the same thing. Here's the same test with the Ego, and you can see how the vanes turn and how they function kind of right here. Off to the left first, again, look at the area directly in front of me to see that it isn't getting covered in snow. And here we go off to the right, fighting a little bit against the wind, but still obvious what direction I'm shooting the snow. There are tons of situations where you need to direct the snow off to the side, and I wouldn't even buy one of these without that directional option. Overall, the DeWalt is the only tool in this test that I would not recommend, and even though I have opinions and preferences on the rest of the lineup, they're all pretty decent tools that work great. I think electric snow shovels are really good at some things, but not so good at others. If you want to see my thoughts on what I like using mine for most, check out this next video here. And while an electric shovel does a pretty good job of clearing snow, nothing beats a bristle brush when it comes to getting all the snow cleaned up. If you want to see a brush and a shovel go head to head, I've got a video for that too. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more great tool review content and all things DIY.